in the vise today, I've got this ERA Invincible. I've picked it in the past, that's a bit in on the key. And I wanted to try to pick it open using, firstly, my homemade tension tool, which I made out of a brass fire companion set. But secondly, this, I've never used one of these before. I think they're called lollipop pick wires. And it's just basically an homemade one, 2 washers bolted together. So we'll see if we can get this open. And at the end of the video, I'm going to attach a video I made earlier of me actually making this lollipop pick. Like I say, it's not rocket science, it's just 2 washers bolted together, but it might be interesting for some of you who would like to see stuff like that. But first of all, let's see if it's going to be any good. The only downside is I didn't have any 1.6mm wire, and I've had to use 1.4mm, and to be honest, I'm not keen on 1.4mm. And it does the trick. It's okay if you're in a restricted keyway, but I prefer the feedback of a bigger diameter wire. A little bit of movement, there you go. I was just going to say a little bit of movement then. So it did work. And like I say, if you want to see how I made it, continue watching. If you don't, then that's it for now. So the first thing you need is a couple of washers. If you've got old washers lying around the house, that's even better. If not, you can get these cheap enough from any hardware store. So these are about the right size for me. You could go bigger. Let me just see how big these are. Yeah, these are, well, about 35mm, about 35mm in diameter. You could go up to 40mm, 50mm even, depending on how big your hands are and what feels comfortable. But I know full well these are going to be okay for me. So the next thing we need to do is drill some holes right the way through either side of that to clamp it together. So first of all, we'll need to put 2 centre punch marks on. You ain't really got to centre punch them, but it just starts your drill off so much easier. So let's move this out of the way. Put that one there, stick that one on there. There you go, I've just put 2 punch marks on that. Like I say, I've not measured it. You could, if you wanted to get a measurement on it and do it exact so it looked really cool, you can, but I'm just doing this quick and rough to show you how I made it. So that's your second one. So you need to keep them together now and drill right the way through. You need to use a 3.5mm drill because I'm going to put 4mm screws in. So you need to tap it out 4mm. Now, when you're drilling it, to keep them together, the best thing to use is, we call these mole grips, but you might call them locking pliers or whatever, but just use them, put them together, make sure they're nice and tight, clamp them up. So when you drill your 2 holes now, they'll be in line. So I'm not going to show you how to drill 2 holes. I'm just going to go and drill these and then I'll show you how to thread them. There you go, 2 holes drilled. Like I say, I've not measured it, but it don't look too far off, being central. So now we need to use a tap and tap out 4mm because we're going to use 4mm bolts after to tighten them up. So once you've got it all clamped like that and you know it's all in line, rather than take it about and stick it in the vise, what I'll do is I'll just leave it in the mole grips. So actually clamp the mole grips in the vise instead. And let me show you this. People go on about these all the time, buying one. You don't need an expensive kit if you're just doing stuff like this. This cost me, I think it was about 15 quid. Don't know what that is in US dollars, but it's 15 English pounds. And I've done loads of stuff with that. And people say, oh, they're cheap and nasty, they don't last 5 minutes. Honestly, I've threaded loads of stuff. I've made tension tools. I've made repinnable Eurocin in the locks, all sorts of stuff with that. So you don't need to splash out loads of money. That's all it cost me, 15 quid. So we're going to get a 4mm tap out. And then this is the wrench you use for the tap. I know you probably all know, but there's probably some people that's never even tapped an hole. So I'm just going to show you. So that tightens up. And there's a square shank on the end of your tap. So you put that into there, and then you twist the handle and tighten it up. Simple as that. And all you need to do then is tap your holes out. This tap is tapered, so it helps you start off. So make sure you run right to the end, because if you only tap halfway through, you've not got the full thread because it's tapered. So that's tightened up. So just stick it in there in there, in the hole he says. Twist it round. I always hold my fingers on there just to start me off, just to guide it. Once you start feeling it to pinch, then you know you're on your way, so you can let your fingers off then. Now if it gets tight, just go back a little bit, because sometimes swarf gets trapped in the thread, so go forward and then back. Won't take long to do, there's only 2 holes to tap. You see little bits of swarf dropping out. Like I say, go clockwise and then anti-clockwise. And then once it goes through, you know you're through, lot. That's it, right to the end. That's your first hole tapped out, dead easy. Honestly, if you're going to start making tools, or even if you're just doing DIY stuff in your garage, having a tap and die set is a must, honestly. The amount of things you can do with it is untrue. So let's go on to the other side. Fingers on again just to start me off so it's in line. And once you're on your way, back and forth, let the swarf drop out. And then you're through again, look. Look at that, glides through, so easy. That was without putting any cutting paste on. You can put cutting paste on or oil if you was going through a tougher material, but because it's not very thick and it's not hard material. So there you go, look. There's your 2 holes tapped. So that's it. So what we're going to do now is we're going to put this to one side for now, and we're going to make the wire. So there we go, there's our bit of piano wire, 150mm in length. Now I'm going to use this one for picking curtain locks. So I'm going to put 2 bends on the end. So I'll just show you how to do that. You can take measurements again, but I'm just doing it all freehand just to get through the process quite quick. So I'm just going to guess it. I know roughly how long I want to be. So just put that in, put your fingers on it, pull it over, and then just tap it. You want it at 90 degrees. So that ain't far off. It's all guesswork. And then get your wire and put it back into the vise and keep that part upright, and then drop it down about a mil and a half into the vise, and then just hit it again. And that's roughly the profile you want for picking a curtain lock. So once you've done that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick this end in and put a little 90-degree bend on that. So when that goes in between the 2 washers, it can't spin. So you want it, well, I use it that way. I want the bend the same as that. So basically, keep your fingers on that. Stick him in the vise. Again, you don't need a lot, just enough to stop it twisting when it's in. Just push it over with your finger. This is only 1.4mm. You don't even got to use the hammer. So there you go. So when that goes between the 2 washers now, the 2 washers will sit on that and it can't move, it can't spin. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to clean this up. You can use an hand foil. I'm just going to use it on the grinder. You just want to put a bit of a flat surface on the top and just clean it all up. So I'll do that and then we'll continue. So that's it, fold down. I've used the bench grinder. I didn't put it on the video because it makes so much noise. But basically you just run it round on the wheel, or you can just use an hand foil and just file it flat. It's nothing special. So that's more or less the wire done. So back onto the handle. Now I've got myself 2 little screws. These are 4mm. Maybe you can see them in my hand, I don't want to drop them. And I've got a little countersunk head on them. These have come out of mortice locks. You know the side of the mortice lock where you normally screw your brass plate on? Well, obviously we don't need them brass plates on. So I take all the brass plates off, put them in my brass bucket, and I keep all these little screws. So it's perfect for that. But what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to countersink these 2 holes so the head's sitting a bit better. To do that, you can either use a countersink drill. If you've not got one, just use a bigger drill. So I'll do that now, and then hopefully we can put it all together. So that's the top section of the handle, and like I say, I've just gone down there with a bigger drill just so the screws will countersink in and it won't stick up as much when you're holding it. So we're going to put this wire in like that, and that's why we've put the bend on. So when they're clamped together, it can't twist. once you clamp them together, you've got a bit of a gap. So what I've done is I've used this. It's a bit of what you call double-sided tape. And this is how I do it. You don't need to use this. This just makes life a little bit better with it. So what I do is I'll put a piece on that side. Cut it all off after with the scissors. And then when you put your pick wire in, it runs level with that. So then you put tape the other side, and you put tape all the way around it. So eventually you're left with a pattern where that sits in. I'll just speed the video up and I'll show you the final product. So that's a double-sided tape on it, and it just makes the two washers sit better. And because it's like a rubber compound, it will squeeze together. So what we'll do is, to hold it in place, we'll just put two more on top. So we'll just put one on there like that. Like I say, we can cut all that off after. And then stick another one on the bottom. Like so. And then you just peel this outer plastic off. And like I say, it's like a foam. You can see it shaping around here now. Same as that one. And then just stick your top washer on. Put your screws in. Trim aside. And then you've got yourself a little lollipop pick. So I'll just put it back together now and I'll just show you. So that's it, finished. Just needs a bit of a smooth down now. But yeah, it's not bad. And as you've seen from the video, it does actually work. So that's it for now. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next time. Try it a bit.